Okay, well, hey neighbors, and welcome to the Shed Shop. Why is my 40-gallon hot water tank outside, you ask? No, we're not replacing it. We're taking care of it so we don't have to replace it. It's been here for many, many years, about 6 or 7 years, and that's the average lifespan of these, 6.4 years. But I did some testing with my voltage meter and determined I had one heating element out. We had to do repairs on our pump, as you remember. I want to see if you guys, do you see all that sludge down there? And the worst pile's right there in the center under that element. Yeah, you guys can see that good. And so what we're going to do is remove both our elements with our special tool here. First, I will try putting this on the element and turning it with a screwdriver. And if that doesn't work, we'll turn it with a pipe wrench as we drop our screwdriver. And so, I know the light isn't the greatest, you guys. As usual, this is my life. We have a thermostat on top here, and our top heating element. And then we have a smaller thermostat on the bottom with our bottom heating element. And basically, only one of these will run at a time. Our top one's bad, but we're replacing both. And we're also replacing the anode rod. Mine didn't look as bad as I thought, but that's what this hole is. And it's basically a sacrificial part that helps attract corrosion instead of your lining of your hot water tank, which is made out of iron glass coated. And so with that, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to try and flush as much of that sludge out of the bottom of this as we can, because these things do not open up. There's no getting inside of this. It's an enclosed tank. Yes, this is a cover, but it's not to get inside the tank. And so we're going to do that, and then we'll show you how to do the elements. Okay, so I have screwed my hose in a little bit enough where my anode screws in to try and force some of the sludge out of the bottom. It might take a little while because it is so plugged up, but the challenge is I cannot get this plastic piece to start to break loose, and I don't want to break it because I cannot afford to replace this bitch because this breaks. So that being said, we've got this valve all the way open, and we should have a lot more pressure than that. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to go ahead and take the element out, and it's literally as simple as unhooking your two wires here. Okay, 2 Phillips head screws. I don't know why it won't let me see if there we go, you guys. We got light. We're going to unhook these 2 Phillips head screws, get the wires out of the way, and take this big ass wrench. See, now we're forcing. I know I got to put a plug on that. Don't worry, I didn't get your face, neighbor. And then we're going to take this wrench and put it on there and take that off, because that's another place for water to escape, but also I can end up putting my hose there and pushing the slush around to try and get it out. So we're going to put some stops up here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, neighbors, as you can see, because our drain plug was clogged up, look at all our sludge and grudge. Look, all of this is what was in the bottom of your hot water tank. We have well water, and apparently municipal water does a lot worse. And so we've removed our drain plug. We've got our hose hooked up to the top here, and we're forcing our sludge out. And then we'll replace our elements. We'll let everything get dried real good. We'll use a blow dryer to dry the insulation that's getting wet. And then we'll go ahead and hook our hot water tank back up after we're confident it's cleaned out. Okay? So, I feel like for now that should be good. Go ahead and kill, oh shit, he's right there. Go ahead and kill the water. I think we're okay now. We'll let it drain, and then we'll try and flush this stuff manually after the fact. So, next we'll show you how to get the element replaced. Well, shit, neighbors, I just realized I might be flipping you inside and upside down, but my battery's too low to turn the light on now. So basically, I just want to show you, we have flushed the, I think you guys are upside down, damn it. We have flushed the tank for about 30 minutes now, and we still got stuff coming out. If you like our redneck ingenuity, I put a pipe to keep the hose from kinking, and we hung it up there, and then we blocked our hot water tank up down there and tied it off just to be safe. And so basically what we'll do now is change our elements, okay? And then we'll get this back inside, dry it off, everything, put our valve back in the bottom, which I will have to replace in the future, and we'll go from there. Okay, neighbors, now that we have flushed a ton of garbage out of our hot water tank here, all this came out of our hot water tank. This is our bottom element. What I've done is you have a couple of options. I tested to make sure my thermostats are good, but because I don't want to go without hot water all night, and 2 and 3 days at a time again, I've go ahead and I've purchased me 2 heating elements, and I've purchased me this kit for $40 from Lowe's, and it's got the 2 heating elements, your upper thermostat and your lower thermostat. And then I've also purchased an anode. Mine actually, surprisingly, wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But we're going to go ahead and replace it since we're in here. And to remove that anode, we had to use a 1 1/16 inch 6-point socket with our breaker bar and this pipe on our breaker bar for leverage. And so, real quick, I will show you how you remove these elements as Dion holds the camera for me before we lose our light.
It's the only thing with thread on it.
It's out there, but if this is good, we can use it here. Can you hold the camera? And I'm going to take this element out for them. So basically, guys, you can buy this. It's a heating element wrench, literally, and it's got holes in it, so you can put your screwdriver in it for leverage. And basically, I've done my bottom one already. You just need to, I encourage you to take pictures of these wires, and even though you might like your entertainment section, well, we've lost our line, entertainment section of the service on your hot water tank, I'm going to pin a link in the comments of the video that I think is most beneficial and most professional and most educational, because the guy explains the electricity and everything, and I will try to show you what he's doing as well with the entertainment part. Have your fun with me, and then get fucking serious before you do the shit, because you can get electrocuted and die like we almost did today because we turned off the wrong damn breaker and our chit was still hot. Good thing we told ourselves we're going to treat this shit like it's still hot, because there's 240 volts running right there, and that shit can kill you literally. So just go ahead and remember where your wires are. We've got our yellow on the left, blue on the right. Okay, you got to remove your wires so you can get your wrench on. Yellow on the left, blue on the right. And our video is like our picture. Set your wires aside. That's for our bottom element. Take your wrench, move your insulation out of the way. Okay. And obviously, we definitely don't have to worry about power because our chit is completely unhooked. Okay, put that wrench on there. And then put your screwdriver through. Give it some oomph. Elbow grease. Okay, break it loose, and then you should be able to just use this with your hand and go ahead and take the old element out. Now, our hot water tank is not perfectly flushed out, you guys, but I need to replace my drain valve anyways, and so in a couple of weeks, probably, I will go ahead and flush this again, but we have a drain hole in the floor that we hook a hose up to. Sorry, Gimp Chainsaw Redeemer is struggling because he's in pain. And we're going to go ahead and drain it again and replace our drain valve. Now, to replace the anode, you really, this is swollen. It doesn't want to come out. There's all the corrosion on it. Is this a double? No, it's just, this is our bad one. Our one that tested bad, and now I know why. This sumbitch has gotten bent. It overheated, which tells me I might have an issue with my thermostat. Okay, because for that to heat up that much to warp like that, it didn't shut off like it should. So once we've got those out, you can use thread lock tape, or I'm sorry, damn it. You can use plumber's tape, the white Teflon tape. We're using our Teflon tape paste, and so this will work just as good. And we're going to do that on our anode and our 2 thermostats. And so these thermostats come with a gasket on them, okay? And so this thread lock is really just insurance, and you don't need a lot of it. It says apply a generous amount to the anode, but for this application, we don't want to go too heavily. Okay, we just want a light amount just to fill our threads. And that's just going to help ensure with that gasket that our, now, you need to make sure you get the right thermostats too. I'm sorry, the right heating elements. Mine are 240 volt. 4,500 watt. I believe they come in like a 3,500, 4,500, or 5,500. Make sure you replace it with the same ones that are OEM, and these are fairly universal to hot water tanks, at least here in America. And then we will just get that started. You have to hold it level as you can. Make sure it starts good and even. And you can take your wrench. Whoops, we didn't get it going right, because it's dark and a lot of our jobs end up being late at night. because they take all day and all night. As we throw shit on the floor, I'm still not starting even. My insulation is getting caught here. Damn. Yep, it's not going in, damn it. This sucks. I gotta switch sides here. I'm trying to go backwards to get that first thread to fall in place. It just doesn't want to. And I am GIMP, and so I can't turn this by hand like I should be able to. So hopefully that started it enough for me. Trying to hold my tension down on my wrench. Nope. Fuck. This is my life. Can't even screw a simple thing in. Welcome to being disabled, neighbors. Okay, hopefully that started enough to where my wrench will keep going without it falling out again. I think we did. Okay. Now this has a rubber O-ring, guys, so we want it tight, but you don't want to wrench it down like with all of your might. Okay? And because I'm weak, I'm going to use my screwdriver. Damn. Okay. My gasket is causing me not to be able to get on there. Okay, so we're going to just snug this up. Do the same thing with bottom one, you guys. And then this just literally, we're going to put some paste on it. Thread it back in. And then your anode is up on the top here. Sometimes you do have to remove this top little cover. So this is an anode rod. This is the one Lowe's had. It will go down in there. And this is where you want to apply a nice liberal amount of your thread sealant. Whatever kind of sealant you're using, okay? Paste, Teflon tape. Some people probably would even use thread lock if that's all they had. Gasket maker if you're in a pinch. All those things would probably work. Okay. And then this one, we do want it nice and tight. Tighter than we do the ones on the bottom because there is no rubber gasket on this one. That's why it says to apply a liberal amount. So we will tighten that with our 1 16th inch socket. And then we will go inside, hook everything back up, test everything. Well, we're going to test our thermostat and everything to verify before we hook our power back up to make sure everything's still good and getting the conductivity that it needs. And so hopefully we'll be able to show you that too. For now, we're going to pause you. Okay, neighbors. Welcome to me letting you into my shitty, disgusting bathroom that I cannot believe my grandmother has had to live in for the past 10 years and the church did not help. My tub is cracked. I used a Flex Seal tape and there was a big crack, and I'll tell you what, that shit is expensive and ridiculously overpriced, and I can't stand their infomercials, but the shit actually works. No, neighbors, I don't get paid for that. Do you see how brown my water is? We've run like 400 gallons of water through our hot water tank to flush some shit out. And because of that, now we've stirred up our well real bad, and so it's dirty. But what I've done now is I have enclosed my hot water tank because basically we had to flush it so much that the insulation around the hot water tank has gotten wet a lot, and it's very close to the wires. And to be safe, we are got a space heater in there and are trying to let that dry out for a few hours. And then our hot water tank will be full. We've replaced our elements, replaced our anode, and we've tested everything with a voltage meter, which I didn't get for you, but hopefully we will get that before I go to bed tonight. I will show you before we have the power hooked back up how to test your thermostats and your elements so that you don't have to spend all kinds of money. I didn't get to show you taking out the anode, but it's very hard and it took me and Dion and we're in my bathroom, and I live in a moldy, dilapidated trailer, neighbors. So it's very hard to share certain projects I'm having to do, but our hot water has gone out a couple of times. We redid plumbing, our hot water went out. I flushed the tank the regular way, and unfortunately I had to remove my drain valve at the bottom, and you saw in the video earlier that I was flushing with a hose and everything else Dion and I set up. But what I've done now is, before I turned my water supply into my hot water tank, which goes to the bottom, and then comes back out the top over here, which you'll see later, and then into my house supply, I went ahead and opened the second closest, because my bathroom sink is the first closest, valve. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing air out of the tank. So as the water comes in to the bottom of the tank, all the air is forced out of the supply line that goes to the house. And so you have to have a valve open, otherwise that air gets trapped in your tank, and when you turn your water on, it's going to sputter and spat and everything, unless you get that water, that air out of your hot water tank. And that requires leaving this open for a while, at least in our situation, because of our bladder tank and our water pressure issues. We have pretty good water pressure, but not always, and as you can see, it's sludgy right now, so our well is probably struggling right now. We took a lot of time to flush as much as we could out of our hot water tank, because even though our time is very, very valuable right now, the most valuable thing is that I need hot water. And so that being said, we have to do what we have to do. And the thing is, I say diagnose. Diagnose before you spend $700. It's simple. And if you're scared of electricity like I am, well, you can hire somebody, or you can just take a chance and be very, very careful and watch hundreds of videos, read hundreds of articles before you touch it. Not everybody can afford to hire a professional. So I'm showing you that a crazy freaking redneck can do it and almost gets electrocuted sometimes when he messes with electricity. But it is possible. So again, there's going to be a pinned comment. I think that is a very good video, a very professionally done video. Not a crazy redneck. A professionally done video by a guy that I think will explain to you everything that I've done today, but I've gone way more extensive than he had because I flushed my tank and everything. But in terms of the electricity aspect, he explains it far better. And I like to know how CHIT works, and I like to know what makes CHIT fail, so I can try and prevent CHIT from failing, because I'm poor. And so he explains what the thermostat is, how it works, the continuity, and how the terminals open and close, and how they can weld themselves and seize together because of electrical surge, etc., etc. And so I encourage you, go watch that video. It's the only one of 2 videos. He did a cut open of a hot water tank, which I've really been wanting to do for years. Do a video on that. Even though I've only had a YouTube for a year, I've been wanting to do a kind of video like that for years, because I like seeing how CHIT works. So that being said, the next step will be, as I said, once everything dries out, we'll go ahead and take our pictures where our wiring was, so we don't mess it up. Hook all of our wires back up after we have shown you how to test the various ways. And then, because I'm dyslexic and things, I'm telling you guys, don't do what I do. Do what this guy does, okay? Do what he does. Go in the pinned comment. It's going to be the very first comment in the comments, and it will also be in the description. I don't know this guy. I'm not trying to advertise for his channel. This is just a video that it takes what I'm showing you in a funny, entertaining, I'm a freaking crazy redneck, the chainsaw redeemer that can't afford to hire a plumber, in excruciating, agonizing pain with a filthy, moldy, dilapidated trailer, but wants you to know you can do this shit too. If a disabled guy like me with a fucking brain injury can do it, so can you, neighbor. See, you don't have to pay a plumber 175 hours an hour, neighbor. It's not that hard. You can do this shit too. Okay, well, hey neighbors, welcome again to the moldy, dilapidated trailer bathroom, the worst part of the house. We got the hot water back in the hot water tank back into the house. We've hooked our supply line up. We've hooked our supply to the house line up, and now we have filled our hot water tank. But what we did, as you saw, is we opened our valve to our hot water supply to the house, and then allowed water into the tank, because what happens is that water goes down to the bottom of the tank and then pushes all of the air out of our line into our bathtub, as I showed you. and that way we don't have any air in our tank. Now basically we have replaced both of our elements, but what we did is we tested everything to determine what was wrong first. What we have up here is we had to unhook our supply line. So you've got a ground that hooks to your plate. You've got your live, that's going to be your white that hooks to your red. And then you've got your other live, which is going to be your black that hooks to your black. And what that is you've got 120 volts coming in here, 120 volts coming in here. So for a total of 240 to each element, okay? And basically what we're going to do is we're going to test and make sure our new elements are good. And then we'll go outside, grab the bad element, and show you what happens. So first, we have our power all unhooked still, and we're going to turn our voltage meter to our lowest ohm setting, okay? And we're going to take it, and we're going to touch our 120 power, and touch it right here. And as you can see, it moves, and we went close to 0. That's our top element. We move over here, and you can see our bottom element has nothing. But then we move to this terminal that currently it's supplying power to our top element. And you can see it moves and it wants to be 0. Now we have brand new elements in. You have 2 posts on your element. On your ohm meter, you're going to go ahead and touch those 2 posts together. And we want, for a 4,500 watt element, almost 13 ohms. So we're doing good there. And then we'll go to our element on the bottom and do the same thing. And we're good there. Now, as far as this one, what we want to do, we checked our thermostat. This is a reset button, okay? We checked our thermostat. So our 120 coming in, we have supply here. So that post is working. And then we go over to this post, and we're going to check. Sorry, neighbors, my GIMP shoulder won't work. And we test this one, and again, we're almost 0, okay? And see there, no. But we go there, no. But we come back over here, and we see we're supplying. So currently what's happening is when we touch this post to our top element, currently the power is running to work our top element first. Now, before we were able to adjust our temperatures manually, even with no power, and get it to kick over to where it was supplying our bottom element. And if that was the case, then when we touch this post, which goes to our bottom element, it would turn to almost 0, okay? So we have tested our thermostats. We have tested our new elements, and everything's good. So what we're going to do is hook all our power back up, and I encourage you, take pictures and hook it back up identical. Now, on the elements, it doesn't really matter. You have 2 posts, and so one wire will go to one, and one wire will go to the other. I've taken pictures. We're going to hook our 2 lives back up here. We'll take these 2 wires right here. That feeds down to our bottom element and our top element, and so basically they both have power going to them consistently. Yeah, our work light died. That should reach our top element, our top thermostat there. It's supposed to go here, so we'll verify that on our photo. But basically we'll hook all our electronics back up, and then we'll go ahead and turn our breaker on. Hope everything doesn't blow up, because we're rednecks and can't afford to play a professional, so we can only go by our own skills that we've learned ourselves. And then what we will do is, once everything is working, we want to make sure that once our top element has warmed the water, that it turns off and our bottom element takes over. And so once we verify that and we have hot water, we'll know everything's good. So let's take a quick trip outside. Dion's going to... Okay, neighbors, so basically this was our top element that's bad. And when I saw this was warped, I got concerned. I thought, what caused this to overheat so much that it just started drooping down in the water? Not quite sure, but I have bought extra parts on hand, and as you saw, we flushed as much as we could out of that tank, and our lining looked pretty good. I can pay $600 plus tax and go through all the hours of driving 45 miles away, 45 miles back, and having to haul a hot water tank and having to replace it and then having to scrap the other one. Or you can diagnose with a $10 voltage meter and a screwdriver. So basically what I'm going to show you is, as you can see, this is a continued circuit, okay? It is continuously connected, and so unless power is supplied, it doesn't work. But there should be continuity, and that's what our ohms is. And so when we touch our 2 posts on this bad element, you're not going to see anything happen. We're not going to get our 13 ohms. You can see it just stays there. But let's take our bottom element, which was good. And as you can see, we have 13 ohms. Okay, so this element was still good, but if you're going to replace one, you should replace both. I purchased extras because I don't want to be without hot water for 2 days again. So we're going to hook everything back up, and then the final closing of this video will hopefully be, he's an optimistic, so he would say, is going to be us showing you we have nice steamy hot water again. Both of our elements are working, and we haven't blown our house up. So stay tuned until the end of the video to find out what the hell happens, neighbors. Okay, neighbors, for the final clip of the video, welcome again, as it's the same video, to the moldy, dilapidated trailer, my bathroom. So we are going to see, has our hot water heater used our first element to warm our water, and is it now using our bottom element to heat our water? So again, we're going to go to the lowest setting of our ohms on our ohm meter. And what we want to do is go ahead and put one post here and another post down here. This would be our top element. We're reading nothing. And to verify that our bottom element is getting used, let's go here. And as you can see, we have current. And the final piece we're going to do, neighbors, is he's going to pause you. Did you dirty neighbors? He's going to stop you by accident, and we're going to do this shit. And I'm going to say, I have hot water fever, neighbors. Listen, neighbors, you don't have to pay a professional to do this shit. You can do this shit yourself. If my dumb redneck crippled ass can do it, you can do it too. But, again, electricity is serious, and 240 volts can fucking kill you. So go to the pinned comment and watch a professional do this shit after you get your entertainment and laugh at my dumb redneck ass. Until next time, neighbors, I'm going to go take my hot shower and bask in the victory that is hard work and figuring shit out yourself and not just throwing money at problems. Neighbors, be kind to one another. Everyone's facing a battle. Welcome to my moldy, dilapidated bathroom. Love all 8 billion of you, even though I suck at it. Let's keep persevering, neighbors.